What are subtle red flags at a job interview that verbalize, working here would suck? Must be a self-starter equals we won't train you. Fast-paced environment equals we will overwork you. Must be able to multitask equals we fired 3 people and want you to do all their jobs. I worked a job for a few years where management would literally say it's a sink or swim culture here, not realizing that every Behavior 101 textbook will tell you that's a toxic, terrible management style. I need to know you'll be available at a moment's notice, regardless of weekends, holidays or pre-arranged time off. If this minimum wage, no benefit job isn't your highest priority, don't waste my time. When you're constantly seeing repeat ads for them on any job searching platform. Oh god yeah, there's a local truck stop that never doesn't have ads for basically every position, and they're riddled with typos too. I legit don't understand how the owner is still in business, because functionally speaking he appears to never have employees. Any form of the phrase around here, we work hard, but we also play hard, this roughly translates to we work a shit ton of uncompensated overtime, but every now and then Janet brings in cookies for the break room. Or worse, we work a shitload of unpaid overtime, but every now and then there are expensive and alcohol-heavy corporate events that you are implicitly expected to partake in. If they struggle to answer the question, what is your favorite thing about working here? A former colleague of mine taught me to ask this question at interviews, and it has proved to be quite valuable. If the interview team does not struggle or hesitate to come up with multiple answers that sound original, they likely work for a great company. But if they do struggle to answer and give unremarkable responses, they are not worth your time. Went on an interview and the hiring manager said the culture of the office was for everyone to try and arrive before your boss arrives and leave after your boss leaves. He told me a story about how he arrived at 4 AM once, and his boss was already there that day, so he stayed even later that evening to make up for arriving late. Nope. From my experience, if you interview for a teaching job 2 days before the school year starts, and they dance around why they have an opening, and then tell you that you can't start until 2 weeks into the school year, and that you can't come and shadow other teachers, or get to know the building or anything until the night before. Spoiler, I lasted a week and then quit, and they had forgotten to make me sign a contract, so I got away clean. When they say we expect people to be comfortable working overtime, translation, we are going to ride you until the wheels fall off. The phrase work hard, play hard, it translates to you will have no free time, but we'll have a team activity twice a year. From my experience this usually means this job sucks, and that's why everyone who works here drinks after every shift. I once got a job offer where the boss was trying to coerce me into accepting the offer an hour after the interview had ended, even though he had been rude and dismissive towards me all through the interview. I had other offers I was also considering, so I wanted to take a couple of days to think about it. After 24 hours he emailed me angrily and rescinded the job offer because I wasn't committed enough to be a good employee. I definitely dodged a bullet on that one. Edit. Typo. They don't allow you to ask questions at the end of the interview. They hint that people need to ask permission for things like going to the bathroom. The hiring manager knows nothing about the job. A large healthcare company wanted me for an interview. They sent a link to an interview page where their people had recorded interview questions and then had a timed recording period for answers. No way to have give and take, it was all about them. I continue to get job alerts for this company, but they have permanently demonstrated their unsuitability. More like a flashing red warning light, but the interview room was also the firing room. They brought someone in and fired them while I was still being interviewed for the job. We're a family here, translation, you'll be expected to pick up the slack of the underachievers. If this is a sales job, expect to be guilted into giving up your sales to keep these bottom feeders off a performance plan. Should you refuse, we will make your life hell. If they use terms like fast-paced, That means you'll be asked to work long hours with arbitrarily short deadlines. I once drove 2 hours for a job interview. I called the day before to confirm that the interview was on. After I arrived on time for the interview, they kept me waiting for 35 minutes before the person I was to interview with had the receptionist tell me that something had come up and they wouldn't be able to meet with me that day. No explanation, no apology. The recruiter who had arranged the interview called to reschedule another interview. I told them I wasn't interested in interviewing there anymore. The recruiter couldn't understand why I wouldn't go back. But if that's the way they treated me while they're trying to woo me, then how are they going to treat me once I'm actually an employee? My fiancée interviewed for a new position at her current company and the hiring manager said, "I'm going to have to warn you. We haven't had a lot of luck with women in this position." Needless to say, she didn't pursue that position anymore. He also was let go shortly after, for reasons we do not know. And yes, her company sucks. For the restaurant business, rapid turnover, a rushed interview like they just wanna hire a new body, and over-exaggerated money earnings are all flags for me. I went to an interview at a gas station a few months ago. The interview was going well until she asked me about my availability. I showed her my class schedule and told her I was also willing to work graveyard shifts. She was ecstatic, and I began asking her questions on how dangerous the area is during that shift and what I should watch out for. She proceeded to explain the store has been robbed 3 times in the past year, and began blaming the employee who worked graveyard shifts for not being vigilant enough and allowing the people to rob the store. She then continued talking smack about how he was an inadequate worker and that she wants to get rid of him. The interview was finished shortly afterward, and they said they would call me. I walked out with no plans to work for that store. Sorry, you don't victim blame defenseless employees for getting robbed in the middle of the night, especially if they work by themselves, nor do you talk badly about employees when this is my first time speaking with you. They called me twice a week later, and I never answered them. Screw that place. Personal days off are at the complete discretion of your supervisor and should be requested at least 3 months in advance. Essentially, you want to be wary of a lot of turnover. If you ask how long your interviewer has been there and they themselves haven't been there long, not a great sign. You have only been here a month and you're doing the hiring? Got hired working in a lab. Literally my first week on the job I was cheerily told by the woman who hired me, "We had such a hard time keeping this position filled." Everyone had either been there 10 plus years or 6 months. I ended up quitting a year later to move, and not one person told me bye on my last day. Everyone was nice enough, just very set in their cliques. A few weeks after I started, they had a little birthday party for someone in the break room. Guess who wasn't invited? So, if everyone has been there a super long time together, you probably don't want to work there either. Here are the standards that work across most industries. Please research your industry before the interview. The parking lot looks like a used car dealership. Low pay. During the interview they ask how you feel about overtime. Ask back what the standard work week length is. They ask illegal questions. Kid/married/ are you willing to break the law? Are rude/sexist. Don't answer your simple questions about the job/environment. Why an opening, hours, pay, benefits, after hours work. There are more, but if any of the above happen, run. I've learned from my current job that when they say the position is project based, that they have no fucking clue what they want you to do. You're either doing mindless data entry or manual labor, or you're twiddling your thumbs. They specifically tell you not to talk to anyone else who works there. Regardless of reason, could be, no one knows we're replacing this person. Or no one knows we're adding someone new to the staff. They would be. If they have some reason, either A, something is wrong with the staff itself, and you probably don't want to become part of it, or B, they are hiding something about working for them, and don't want you to talk to the staff and find out. A group interview, which is really just the interviewer talking at the candidates. Not talking to them, talking at them. They are simultaneously giving a sales pitch about the company, while never describing what the company actually does. Note, I've noticed that companies with vague business descriptions are usually multi-level marketing, illegal pyramid schemes. I almost got pulled into one. Thankfully, I did not get the job. But if the job is for sports marketing/event marketing, or is for entry-level management, which does not exist, it's probably an MLM. It will turn out to be a sales job. You can learn all about them on r/mlm scams. This happened in a second interview for a company located in the downtown area of major US city. I'm not sure if you're a good fit for our culture. Last time I asked you about your ideal workday and you mentioned stepping out for lunch. We don't really do that. See, you ask me about my ideal day, which would certainly include lunch away from my desk. But if yours wouldn't, then I think you may be right about the cultural fit. P.S. If possible, always job hunt when you already have a job, so you can walk away from that kind of BS instead of pretending like it's cool.